Look, mister, there are some rules you've got to follow. Yeah? What kind of rules? First of all, keep him out of the light. He hates bright light, especially sunlight. It'll kill him. Second, don't give him any water, not even to drink. But the most important rule, the rule you can never forget, no matter how much he cries, no matter how much he begs, never feed him after midnight. Alright, let's do some questions. Interesting name. They're Blex. So Blex asked about elbow issues from benching. Yes, I have had elbow issues from benching. I have tack and stretched with lacrosse ball, and it's really bad, up my fish oil. But tack and stretching multiple times per day has worked for me. I don't know what Penley's magical elbow band trick is, but I use the compression band that I bought from Rogue, the Mobility WOD one, excuse me. And I tack and stretch a lot. Are you thinking about med school? No, I'm not, Patrick. Thank you. Dimitri asks, would it benefit a taller guy to pull in squat shoes? I'm 6 foot flat and having issues with back running in my deadlift. Welcome to the club. Without seeing you deadlift, I don't know. It's going to depend on the individual. It's going to depend on your anthropometry. So the length of your torso and the length of your legs and arms. Also your mobility, if you're able to get into proper extension prior to the beginning of the lift. So I would look on Mobility WOD to see a video Brent reminded me of recently on how to get in proper extension prior to starting a deadlift. And if I can find that, I will send that to you. I'm sure I've got it somewhere. Mick CrossFit asks, what accessory exercises would you recommend or prioritize for weak lower backs? I personally have had great results with stiff leg deadlifts and the glute ham raise. Would love to hear some opinions on exercises that have built bulletproof low backs. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing stiff leg deadlifts, GHRs, good mornings, good morning. Banded good mornings like Justin showed in one of his videos. Maybe some RDLs. I mean, all of those are good exercises. I mean, is one better than the other? Not really sure. I like RDLs. Ryan asks, sorry Mick, I know that was a lousy answer. Ryan asks, how do you work in training around PT? Fun fact, you really don't, other than the PT test. My particular career field has a very hands-off approach to PT. It's pretty much at your own leisure. So if you choose not to do it, you fail your test. That's about all there is to it. So how would I work in training around PT if I did have to do PT 3 times a week? I would probably have to maybe have a little less lofty goals. I might not be able to gain weight as quickly. Just do the best that you can. I mean, if you have to cut out some accessory lifts, get your main lifts in there. Try to accumulate some volume. Get some good intensity work in. I mean, you're going to have to base it around how intense your PT is. I don't know. It depends on the branch. I mean, in a Marine and Army, PT can get pretty intense. So, again, it depends. If you want to ask again, I mean, with more specifics about your PT, just let me know. Joe asks, how to be better at trolling? Oh wow, there's a number of ways to do that. First of all, read Brent's blog. That's a good start. And then whatever bothers most people, just do that. So if I don't know, weird handshakes, loud noises, saying "see ya" when people ignore you, just making like push motions and sounds all the time. That works. Make up stories about armadillos, like the ones I've told Brent, and then repeatedly tell them until Brent falls on the ground laughing, and then everyone else leaves. John asked, I think a good bit about sports-specific military training. I don't know what the question is. Please ask again. Brian asks, how long is a 10-centimeter ruler? Bing it. Mark contributes, nothing. Yeah, nothing that's going to benefit anyone. Thanks for that, Mark. Appreciate that. Would you change up, Sam asks, would you change up your deadlift stance with an athlete with shorter levers and a longer torso? Sure. I mean, your deadlift stance is not necessarily going to be the generic shoulder width. It's not going to be the same for everyone. I mean, some people are going to have to get a little wider. Some people call. So yeah. Obviously, Chris pulls a lot more narrow than I do, and Chris has a long torso, or at least a more of a normal length torso than I do, and I have quite a bit wider stance and a tiny little torso with really long femurs. So yes, it's going to depend. Your deadlift stance is probably going to change. Emily asks, is this the weirdest looking deadlift, or am I missing something? Sure, it looks kind of like it looks more like an RDL than a deadlift. However, Elizabeth is pretty awesome, and she lifts a lot of weight, and I don't think she's hindering herself in any way because she's doing pretty well. So I would say that it's maybe not that traditional, but then again, Konstantinov's doesn't pull very traditionally. It works for him, probably wouldn't work for a lot of other people. Stan Efferding pulls a lot different than most people. So it works for her. I mean, it might not work for you or might not work for anyone else, but it seems to work for her. Sergio asks, how do you pass the abdominal circumference? See ya. Kip asks, push press versus bench press for general strength training if you could only choose one. I wouldn't only choose one. I would do both of them. So, sorry if that's a lousy answer, but yeah, let's take them both. Patrick, reposting the same question from last week that was promised to be answered this week. I won't fail you this time. When adding Swoller Trophy to stock Texas method, should we change the rep scheme on the big lefts to 8 to 12 range? Sure. Yeah, change. Yeah, go with 8 to 12 on your squat, bench, dead, and press. Oh, I'm sorry, I take that back. Not the deadlift. Maybe you'll be doing, I guess, another set, maybe a set of 5. However, I wouldn't pull 8 to 12 for deadlifting unless you're doing like a strongman event or where you have to pull for reps. And then maybe you could train that occasionally, but even then I wouldn't train it, all that often. David asks, Dear Mike, can you kindly elucidate how you would program an amateur strongman with a few years background of strength powerlifting? Kind regards and lots of love. Thank you, Dave. Right back at you. And your glasses look nice from here. Okay, this would take an extremely long time to answer. Okay, so I'm currently experimenting with my own training. You can read my blog, 70sbig.com/Mike. If you'd like to see what I'm doing currently in order to put in some more strongman movements, in order to develop some skill with them, and then to also further my squat, bench, dead press. How you would program. Now I'm stalling here. Eventually, once I'm a lot better than I am now, maybe in a couple years, I would like to write a book about transitioning from powerlifting into strongman, because I think most really good strongmen would agree that it's probably good to have a good basis of strength before you get into strongman. I think that's very helpful. So how you would program, I would say just get into it slowly start implementing some strongman movements. I mean, like, you can see what I've done. I've got a yoke now. I just got a keg. I've got a log. I've got some farmer's handles. An axle. Everything else? I think that's all I have for now. But anyway, I mean, start slowly implementing those things into your training. I mean, it's, swap out a push press for an axle press, or start strict pressing with an axle. Start doing your presses with logs press a keg. Do a yoke, you know, after your intensity day. You do some walks with the yoke. Keep it light, you know, learn to use it. Yeah, I mean, just get into it slowly. I don't quite know your situation, but that's my advice. Jack says sumo should be made illegal in powerlifting comps. Thoughts on that, Mike? I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that sumo deadlifting is going to stay no matter how people feel about it. I don't know. I mean, personally, I've never pulled sumo. I'm going to try this weekend, see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, some people have big sumo pulls and then can't pull nearly as much conventionally. But I don't know. The reason that I have a program sumo pulls is because I'm planning on transitioning out of powerlifting to strongman, and for the most part, you can't do sumo deadlifts in competition. You have to do a conventional deadlift with whatever it is you're doing. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to leave, and oh well. All right. Matt, programming kettlebell work alongside intermediate strength work, Mad Cow 5x5. I've heard of Mad Cow 5x5, but I do not know what it is. Programming kettlebell work in. I would say get your main movements in for the day. Then yeah, there's no issue doing kettlebell work. I mean, I wouldn't do it to where it's a detriment to the rest of your training, but yeah, sure, throw some kettlebell work in there. It's not gonna hurt you. And the final question is from Tori, who asks, would it be okay to program rows on deadlift day, doing them after those, of course, and resting the next 2 days? Sure, it wouldn't be a problem depending on how your what your program, what the template is for it. But if you can do it on another day, that would give you 2 different pulling movements throughout the week to accumulate, or to just have a little more frequency, and maybe be a little fresher when you're doing your rows, and you might be able to handle a little more weight. But yeah, if you're pressed for time, or that's how your program's set up, and you can't do them the other day, I mean, that shouldn't be an issue. Alright, well that's about all I got. Sorry, well, it was a little longer than last week, but hopefully I got all your questions, the ones I forgot last week, and I'll talk to you here in a little bit.